Radiohead.
Okay. What's the song?
Street Spirit, Fade Out.
Okay. Cool.
It's the last track off the Bins.
It's a pretty piece.
Pretty song, pretty band, pretty album. Pretty good.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Great Measures. My name is Richard. This is Judson.
Great measures, great measures.
So we've done Tool quite a few times.
Quite a few.
4 or 5 songs,
Something
maybe.
like that.
We're going to do one of Maynard James Keenan's other bands, A Perfect Circle.
Okay.
I don't think we've done A Perfect Circle yet, have we? You did the cover, the Eat the Elephant cover. So this is from their 2003 album called 13th Step. The album is, I'll read you a quote from Maynard. The quote says, "I don't think the album is specifically for people who are going through recovery, although that metaphor is absolutely present. Many of the songs are sung from the perspectives of recovery, from the perspective of a person who is in denial about a loved one, and from the drug perspective itself. The perspective of a person who is starting to realize that there is an issue, and of a person who is ready to deal with it." A lot of different perspectives about addiction and recovery throughout this whole album. This song in particular, you've mentioned a lot that you really like space in music. There's a lot of space in this song, and it's probably my favorite song from this band. It's called The Noose.
Okay. Why don't you explain what the 13th step is for people out there? There's only 12 steps.
There are only 12 steps.
What's the 13th
With both
step?
of us being in recovery and in the 12-step community, we are familiar with the 12 steps, and we are also...
Well, what do they say the 13th step is?
Do we want to go there?
I mean, it's the name of the album, right?
Yeah. So the 13th step is, for lack of a better way of putting it, preying on the newcomer in a sexual manner.
Hey, what's up, girl?
Yeah.
Hey, girl.
Or a woman preying on a young
What's up, man?
You know,
What's up, man? Or
coming in out of treatment, or coming into the
vulnerable
the
people.
There you go. Taking advantage of vulnerable
Taking
people.
advantage of vulnerable people in recovery.
There you go.
Because you know, once Stella gets your groove back, you know. What's up? What's up?
So for those of you that don't know, that's the 13th.
That's something you shouldn't do.
It is highly frowned upon.
A step you should not take.
Yeah, it does happen though.
All the time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because Mojo be working at that point, you know, and they're like, "What's up? Don't do it. It's a noose."
Don't do it. Yeah. Yeah. So
Which is the name of the song that we're fixing to do by Perfect Circle.
Yeah. It is
The Perfect Circle. A Perfect Circle.
A Perfect Circle.
I gotta get the article correct.
Ready?
Yeah. Ready?
On.
Proceed then, Richard.
So glad to see you have overcome them, completely silent now. With heaven's help, you cast your demons out. And not to pull your halo down around your neck and tug you off your cloud. But I'm more than just a little curious how you're planning to go about making your amends to curious how you're planning to go about making your amends to the dead. To the dead. With your halo slipping down, your halo slipping, your halo slipping down, your halo slipping down. Your halo slipping down to choke you now.
How you feel about that one?
Whatever. Oh man, I'm gonna get killed. But there's a lot of times, for whatever I've heard in Perfect Circle.
Uh-huh.
Now you're right. Space is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you hear a lot of that in Perfect Circle.
You do.
And I love that. So whatever I end up wishing I could hear in Tool, that's what a Perfect Circle is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, Tool plays mainly in one key.
Uh-huh.
Playing D a lot.
Sure.
A lot. And Perfect Circle, and I'm a big Smashing Pumpkins fan, so Eha being in a Perfect Circle,
mm-hmm.
you get to hear him, you hear that.
Yeah.
That side of whatever he, you know, he. I don't want to say it sounds like the Pumpkin. I'm not saying it.
Right.
But whatever Eha offered to the Pumpkins, I like that it's in there. And then
a lot of the musical composition from a Perfect Circle, the majority of it comes from Billy Howerdale, who I think is an absolute genius. I mean, he just
right. And I'm not saying I'm you know, Billy Corgan does all the stuff for Smashing Pumpkins.
Sure.
Eha just was there. I just like his contribution. I like his guitar stuff. And anyway, and you can tell it's him. But some of those little no stuff. Anyway, but I tend to. I like Tool. I do like Tool, but I like the more melodic stuff of a Perfect Circle.
Sure.
I do. I don't know what. I have zero idea if the Tool community likes a Perfect Circle or if they.
I don't know. That's a good question.
If they shun them because they're not Tool. And
I assume that they probably support anything Maynard does. The majority of them.
Well, you know what they say about assumptions.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I tend to. I don't know. I tend to. Whenever I hear something from a Perfect Circle, I feel like I have more of a motivation and want to hear it again.
Yeah.
I like Tool, but I'm just saying, I'm not saying I like a Perfect Circle more than Tool, but I do like a lot of what a Perfect Circle does more than Tool sometimes because of the musicality of it. There's more going on for me in a Perfect Circle.
Okay.
And then, but lyrically, it's the same. You'll get a wealth of stuff from Maynard.
Yeah.
And wherever he's probably talking to him, you probably get a wealth of information.
Yeah.
Or just imagery and you know, metaphor and whatever else, allegory. But the whole idea of your halo slipping down into a noose is so cool.
Yeah.
Because in the recovery aspect, you can literally go from thinking of your or through your actions being good. I'll just use an elementary way of explaining it. Being good to being bad, you know, within whatever you're doing. Like I'm good, and then I'm not so good anymore. It's a matter of that distance, putting it over your head or putting it over your head.
Right.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That he can find stuff like that, especially in this. I mean, you know, using the word amends is a big deal in recovery, obviously.
Sure.
Make your amends to the dead. You know, I feel like maybe means if you're an addict or an alcoholic and you're still in active addiction.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have a term that we use and then I almost let it out. But then you are the dead. You're on your way to death. You're dying. You're a dead man walking, in my opinion. So, you know, you can't make your amends if you're dead. But I think that what I was trying to mean by that is you do well if you have friends that are dead in this thing. You do them a favor when you're not, when you're doing when you're trying to do the right thing in your life, I think, in this particular correlate, you know, addiction.
Yeah.
So that you're not doing for the people that have passed on before you that have died from the addiction by
Making a living amends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's it's this perspective of the outsider looking in, right? On if you and I are friends, I'm in recovery and you're not, and you don't really know what recovery looks like or whatever, and I see it a lot. We both see it a lot where people come into recovery and are young in it and are early in it, and it's they want their families, they want their loved ones to praise them and pat them on the back, and you're quick to forget about.
Did you pop something?
My elbow popped. Yeah.
Gosh, sound like you broke it for a second.
You're quick to forget about the wrongdoings that you did during your active addiction, right? And he even says in there, recall the deeds as if they're all someone else's atrocious stories. But then,
I like the word atrocious.
yeah, but it's almost this perspective of like, yeah, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm happy for you, and you've got this halo hanging over your head because you're doing so well, right? But not to pull it down, but I'm more than a little bit curious how you're planning to go about making amends to the dead, right? Which I think, in my opinion, from my perspective, is where a living amends comes in, because I think there's a specific event that maybe Maynard is talking about, or something where someone he knows in recovery or in addiction has done something wrong to someone who has since passed on, and before this person got clean or got sober, that person passed away. So he's like, I'm just curious, like, how are you going to make amends to that person now that they're gone?
Yeah.
You know, that's just how I hear it. That's just how I interpret it.
Sure. It's all, it's supposed to be interpreted. But now I'm sitting here thinking that you know, there's danger in feeling as if you have a halo anyway.
Absolutely.
So maybe there's that in there to say.
Not to tug you off your cloud is what he said. Like
right.
The pink cloud. That we get
so if you think you have a halo, it will become a noose.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just the abolishment of the idea that you have a halo anyway.
Shedding the ego. That comes with that halo.
Yeah, I'm doing well, because then it
look at me.
Yeah, because either way it's over your head, you know, and it just depends on it could be a small thing that causes it to be wherever it is, speaking in the metaphor. So maybe just the abolishment of the halo altogether.
Right. Yeah.
And then, you know, as you were just talking about the atrocious things, you know, like you can't, how can you think that you have a halo anyway with all the things that you've done? I mean, nobody's an angel in this thing that we're talking about.
Right.
You don't get to be in recovery
Yeah.
from being an angel.
Sure.
So, I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. It's just that once you feel as though you have the halo is the first step to you making it into a noose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like a perfect circle.
We'll do some more of them.
I lean towards them more than Tool for reasons of Tool has such a solid formula that they can be, I think, you can box yourself in. You know what I mean? Like, you know it's Tool every time you hear them, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah.
But also in that, you get boxed in. I mean, I would think that's why Maynard has other, and all of them probably have other musical projects, because Tool cannot do a song like that.
Okay.
Tool, they can't.
Right.
I mean, people are gonna be like, that's not a Tool song. You know, like that doesn't sound like Tool. So, and that's okay. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I just, for me and my musical taste, I really like how they use space. I like how it's quiet. And I go back to Smashing Pumpkins a little bit. I remember hearing Billy Corgan talking about using quiet music and loud music, and the dichotomy between the two, and then mixing them together or not, giving you so many musical avenues. And I think Perfect Circle does that. I think they have a good use. I really like how they drift into songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I liked how at first I thought the drums were going to be muted like that throughout the song, and then
Yeah.
but it's still the first bass drum that comes in is so cool. I mean, it sounds like it's over there in your memory or in the past, kind of a thing, you know, that's sort of coming through, and then boom, it gets into the present.
Yeah.
I dig it, man.
Well, cool. Guess we're going to turn this into a recovery podcast.
No, not unless you need it.
You're right. We got you.
Or you need it.
Yeah, you need it. Thanks for watching, everybody. That was The Noose by A Perfect Circle from 2003's 13th Step. Glad you enjoyed that one.
Great measures.
We are Great Measures. My name is Richard.
Measures.
This is Judson.
Great measure.
Have a wonderful day.